Hello, I'm Duncan, and this is a dunking of Interstellar, the only blockbuster that came out this year that wasn't based on a sequel, prequel, reboot, remake, or comic book. Now, it got a budget of £100 million, I'm convinced, because it was directed by Christopher Nolan. Otherwise, it would have been given the £30 million budget that most other films are getting that are not ultra-mega blockbusters. Now, the film itself needs to be seen in an IMAX cinema. The visuals are incredible and mind-blowing. It is in 2D, which for me is always a plus, as 3D is an overrated gimmick created purely to stop people pirating films. And you need to see it in the IMAX cinema or on the biggest cinema screen you can find. On television, it's just not going to have the same impact. The soundtrack is incredible. It's the first soundtrack in years I've gone out and bought, and it should be number one. Sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy mixtape, Awesome Volume 1, not as good as the Interstellar. Some of Hans Zimmer's finest work. Mostly because someone has taken that stupid BWAM sound, thrown it in the nearest black hole, plonked him in front of an organ, and told him to do something incredible. The plot, it's kind of a pulpy sci-fi thing. Earth at wars, it's all used up, it can't sustain our numbers, so we're sending astronauts into space through a wormhole to try and find a habitable planet. It's a desperate move, and the cast are all excellent. Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Michael Caine, and Jessica Chastain, all giving really good performances. They're a joy to watch, and nobody is phoning it in here. So, to recap so far, the plot works, incredible visuals, the sound is impeccable, and then people start talking. This is always the problem in a Christopher Nolan film, because I'm convinced that Christopher Nolan has never actually had a conversation with a human being in his life. It's all exposition. A big deal has been made about how this film is all real sci-fi. So there's no warp drive, no transporters, it's all realistic, which means everything has to be explained. Which means a lot of scientific exposition in a blockbuster. And I noticed that the wormhole talk came from Event Horizon. I saw that. You can at least call it a Stargate. But if you can overlook the exposition-laden dialogue, which you can do in an IMAX, then this is arguably one of the most impressive films of the year. It's doing really, really well. It's still out in cinemas. I cannot recommend this film highly enough in an IMAX or a cinema environment. I still think you should buy it on DVD and just see this film. It's incredible. It's even, for Nolan, a slightly whimsical film. You've got a couple of robots that look like metallic Kit Kats roaming around who appear to have wandered in from a Saturday morning cartoon. And this is from when the film was originally supposed to be directed by Steven Spielberg, because someone in Hollywood thinks that Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan are interchangeable. Find this person immediately. Lock him away. And whilst you're out, go see Interstellar. I'm Duncan, and this was a dunking.